Hello students, myself Gaganpreet Kaur, your FMM teacher. Let's continue with our first chapter from NCERT's book. Next topic 1.3, page number 10 of NCERT's book. What is meant by a stock exchange? The definition of stock exchange is given by Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956. According to this, stock exchanges are marketplaces where securities that have been listed thereon may be bought and sold for either investment or speculation. Stock exchanges allow trading in securities both to the genuine investors and speculators. Now let us understand this in simple language. The investors want liquidity for their investments. The securities which they hold should easily be sold when they need cash. Similarly, there are others who want to invest in new securities. So, there should be a place where the securities may be purchased and sold. Stock exchanges provide such a place where securities of different companies can be purchased and sold. The stock exchanges enable free purchase and sale of securities. The securities of listed companies, trusts, governments, municipal corporations are allowed to be dealt at there. The next is, what is an equity share? The total equity capital of a company is divided into equal units of small denomination. Each unit is called a share. This can be better understood with the help of an example. Let's see this. The total capital of a company is rupees 2 lakh, which is divided into 20,000 units of rupees 10 each. Such unit of rupees 10 is called a share. Thus we can say that company has 20,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. Now why this capital is called equity capital? The holder of such shares are members or owners of the company to the extent they have shares and voting rights. Equity shares are the main source of financing of a company. It is issued to general public. Next is, what are debt instrument? Debt instrument represents a contract whereby one party lends money to another on predetermined terms with regard to rate and periodicity of interest. It is a contract in which two parties are involved. One is known as lender, the other one is known as borrower. The lender lends money on predetermined terms like rate of interest, period, and repayment of principal amount by the borrower. In India, the term bond is used for the debt instrument which are issued by the government, whether it is the central government or it is the state government or any other public sector organization. If these debt instruments are issued by a private corporate sector, that means companies, then the term bond will be replaced by the term debenture. Next, what is a derivative? This is very important term which is used in financial markets. Now, what is a derivative? Derivative is a product whose value is derived from the value of an existing product. Let's understand it in simple language. A wheat farmer may enter into an agreement to sell his harvest at a future date to eliminate the risk of change in the price by that date. Like in the month of February, the farmers may enter into an agreement to sell his wheat which is yet to be harvested in the month of April. The price for this agreement will be guided by the price prevailing in the month of agreement, that is February. Now, for those students who have not understood this, let me simplify it again. See this example. A farmer who produces wheat expects to sell 10 quintals of wheat after 2 months at rupees 2000 per quintal. But he is afraid of some damage due to untimely rains. To avoid the risk, he will approach a commodity broker and enters into a contract to sell his wheat at rupees 2000 per quintal after 2 months. So, after 2 months, if the price of the wheat falls to rupees 1970, then the broker is bound to buy the wheat. Who is bound to? The broker is bound to buy the wheat from the farmer at rupees 2000. But if the wheat price rises to rupees 2020, then the farmer is bound to sell his wheat at rupees 2000. If the price falls to rupees 1970, then the broker is bound to buy. If the price rises to rupees 2020, then the farmer is bound to sell his wheat at rupees 2000. So from the above example, the underlying asset on the basis of which the sale price of wheat is decided, the underlying asset on the basis of which the sale price of the wheat is decided is wheat. So derivative is an asset which derives its value from an underlying asset. I hope this is clear. Derivatives. So here derivatives are done. Next topic. What is mutual fund? This was explained in the earlier video 1. You can check it from there. The next topic is what is an index? 1.35. Before we can understand index in relation to stock market, let's get a generic idea what is an index. An index is a tool which measures change. For example, we have consumer price index which measures inflation. So, index can be found to measure change. Now let's talk about stock market indices. Stock market indices. Stock market index is a barometer of market behavior. It reflects the day-to-day fluctuations in stock prices. Stock market indices are devices which measure the change in the level of stock price with respect to time. There are more than 7,000 companies listed on BSE and NSE, that is known as Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. Measuring the performance of each stock is difficult. So, market index is prepared by grouping or aggregating the similar stocks. Only by grouping the similar stocks. The main index of NSE, that is National Stock Exchange, is the Nifty 50. It represents the weighted average of 50 Indian company stocks in 13 sectors and is one of the two main stocks indices used in India. Next topic, after index 1.4, that is depository. What is a depository? Depository is a place where financial securities are held in dematerialized form. It is responsible for maintenance of ownership of records and facilitation of trading in dematerialized securities. Let's understand this. You have cash at home. You go to a bank and deposit it in your account. The bank credits the amount to your account and print the transaction on your passbook. Now you have money, but in the bank. In which form? In dematerialized form, which was earlier in physical form, that is cash. Here the bank acts like a depository which will safeguard your physical money. In the same way, depository converts shares, debentures, bonds, government securities in e-form, that is in electronic form or dematerialized form. Now what is dematerialization? Dematerialization is a process by which a client can get his physical certificate converted into electronic balances. Dematerialization is also called demat for trading in stock exchange. We need to convert physical securities in e-form. Like here you can see a share certificate in physical form. This is the image of physical share certificate. When this dematerializes, it will be converted to electronic form. The physical certificate will be destroyed and the number of shares held will be transferred to the beneficiary account. The report of depository participant submitted to the investor will look like this. That means your physical certificate of share certificate will be converted into a dematerialized form just like this. The next topic is what is meant by securities. A security means an investment instrument issued by a government, a company, or other organization that represents a financial value and an acknowledgement of ownership to the distributed profits. It is a proof of ownership or debt that has been assigned a value and may be sold. Securities may include shares, scrips, stocks, bonds, debentures, debenture stock, etc. Now, what is the function of securities market? Securities are financial instruments which are issued to raise funds. So, functions can be classified as, see this. The primary function of securities market is to enable the flow of capital from those that have it to those that need it. Second function, first two major functions are, first they assist businesses in finding the long-term funding to finance capital needs. Second, they provide private investors a place to buy and sell the securities. Securities market help in transfer of resources from those with idle resources to others who have a productive need for them. Next is, so which are the securities one can invest in? One can invest in shares, bonds and debentures, government securities, derivative products, as I think meaning of derivatives is clear, units of mutual funds. So these are the securities in which one investor can invest in the securities market. So next is regulators. Why does securities market need regulators? As there is a need of teacher in the classroom to tell the students what to do and what not to do and to behave properly in the class. In the same way, regulator ensures that the market participants behave in a desired manner and to follow the rules and regulations, and also to ensure the interest of investors are protected. Who regulates the securities market? The responsibility for regulating the securities market is shared by the Department of Economic Affairs, which is also known as DEA, Department of Company Affairs, DCA, RBI, that is Reserve Bank of India, and Securities and Exchange Board of India, known as SEBI. But SEBI is the principal regulator for the stock exchanges. Now, what is SEBI and what is its role? SEBI, that is Securities Exchange Board of India, is a regulatory authority which is established under Section 3 of SEBI Act 1992. What are the functions of the SEBI? SEBI is regulator of security and commodity market in India. SEBI was established in 1988 but got the legal status in 1992 to regulate the functions of securities market. SEBI's primary function or statutory function include protecting investors' interest, promoting and regulating the Indian securities market. In particular, it has the powers for regulating the businesses in stock exchanges, registering and regulating the working of stockbroker and sub-broker, etc., promoting and regulating self-regulatory organizations, and prohibiting fraudulent and unfair trade practices. This was SEBI. Next topic is participants. Who are the participants in the securities market? The securities market essentially has three categories of participants. First one is issuer of securities, who issues the securities. Second one, investors in security. And the third is the intermediaries. Three participants: issuer of securities, investors in securities, and the intermediaries. The issuer, firstly. The issuer means corporates and government who issue securities to raise funds from the securities market. The secondly, investors. Investors are the persons who invest their surplus funds in the securities. Third, intermediary. Intermediary are a link between the issuer and the investors. Both investors and issuer have to transact through an intermediary. Is it necessary to transact through an intermediary? It is advisable to conduct transactions through an intermediary. Why so? To hold the securities in a demat form, you need an intermediary. To subscribe the shares in a public issue, you need an intermediary. To get guidance from transacting, you need an intermediary. But an intermediary should be registered one with the SEBI to be held accountable for its activities. The list of registered intermediaries is available with the exchanges, industry associations, and also on SEBI's website, that is www.sebi.government.in. Next is last topic of this chapter. What are the segments of securities market? Like in a market, we can buy both new and second hand goods. In the same way, in the securities market, to get the newly issued securities, which is an IPO, initial public offer, this is called primary market, and to deal in securities previously issued, there is a secondary market. Because the securities market has two interdependent segments, primary and secondary. For the new issue, you go to the primary market. For the previously issued, you go to the secondary market. So this is it. PDF of your this NCERT book is provided along with. So you have to go through the PDF. Thank you.